A school year like we've never seen before.
We have split up lunches, so you have smaller groups in the cafeteria.
From making sure students are safe in the classroom to keeping kids connected at home.
And helping parents make smart choices.
This morning for Wellness Wednesday, we are talking about healthy snack options for kids.
This morning, we're getting you ready before the bell.
I am up with daybreak. I am up with daybreak. I am up with daybreak.
That's right. Oh, that sounds so good. Daybreak before the bell, a half hour dedicated to helping parents, kids, teachers navigate this new normal as school finally starts back up. Today, it's day one for some of our really big districts out there. Plano ISD, 50,000+ students will begin learning virtually. Many districts like Plano are taking the first 3 weeks to see how online learning goes before heading back in person.
I feel going online and working at home from your own desk. Is that fun?
Well, it's fun, but it's not really normal.
But it's the new one.
No, it's not. Live from Victory Park, WFAA After the Bell starts now. Whether you're breathing a sigh of relief, having made it through the first day, or still getting ready to go back to class, we've got you covered. And this is a space for you. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Lawrence. Every Wednesday at 5, we'll be updating you on the school year. Things can change on a dime, so we'll share notes between parents and speak with some of the experts who study this stuff for a living. And hey, I don't care if you're taking classes, teaching them, or helping your child. If you made it through the first day, pat yourself on the back. We're all going to need these little moments of appreciation to make it through this year. You know, they've got the right idea in Greenville. Some staff members surprised their superintendent right outside the administration building. They usually do a big pep rally to kick off the new year, but now obviously couldn't do so with current rules in place. So the staff members came up with a surprise car parade to get fired up for school. And they aren't alone. Several districts started the new year today, including Plano, Allen, Mansfield, Granbury, Ferris, and Prosper. That district is home to 12,000 students spread throughout 15 schools, and Prosper allowed students back in the building right off the bat. Families get to choose between learning online or in person, although students are required to social distance while they're in school.
Before the bell, as we have been doing now on Wednesdays to get you ready for this fall, we are dedicating this time in our newscast to helping parents, students, and educators navigate a school year like none that we've ever seen before. Now, we know that the real spirit of North Texas is helping our neighbors and giving back. An estimated 25,000 students in our area lack the basic tools they need to do their schoolwork from home, as so many of our students are. That's why we are trying to help bridge that gap. WFAA has partnered with CompuDopt. This is a Texas-based nonprofit that works directly with families to distribute the technological devices they need in our community. Now, right now, we've got a live phone bank, which is open. This is a lot different than you may have seen on phone banks before here on WFAA. This one's on Zoom. Those folks are working remotely, but they are still taking your calls. We need your help, because for every $2,000 we raise, we can donate 10, count them 10, like new computers to kids here in Dallas-Fort Worth, which increases their chances of educational success. Now, we've got an ambitious goal, 500 new computers, so any amount you give can help. The number, 469-646-6480. You can call it now. We will continue to scroll that number at the bottom of your screen. Now, it is safe to say that this pandemic has been hard on all of us, though it does affect each family differently, which is why we think it's important to remember that not every kid has what they need to succeed. Here's an example of how two different families are each facing their challenges.
Meet Rita. She's a 6th grader who lives at home with her mom and dad. Meet her classmate James, who also lives at home with his parents. Rita's dad has a job that lets him work from home, and her mom chooses to stay home as well. They're in the minority because the Bureau of Labor Statistics says in 64% of families with kids, both parents work. Now, James's dad is an essential worker. He takes the overnight shift at a local grocery store and sleeps during the day. His mom also has a job which helps them pay rent and afford health care. These past few months have affected Rita and James very differently. When their school went online in March, Rita was ready. She got an iPad for Christmas and video chats all the time with her friends. Her family's high-speed internet makes it a breeze. According to a Microsoft study, James and his family are like more than 160 million other Americans who do not have access to broadband. Their computer is pretty old, and they use dial-up to get online. Video conferencing with his classmates hardly ever worked. Downloading a video? Well, that took forever. Over the summer, Rita's mom read all the research on just how important it is for kids Rita's age to spend time with friends, so she organized plenty of socially distant playdates. James has not been able to see his friends in months. His family lives in an apartment where there's not a lot of room to socially distance, and the nearest park is several miles away, too far for him and his buddies to walk. This fall, James and Rita's school is letting families choose between in-person classes or virtual learning. Rita's parents are worried about her getting sick, so they're going to keep her at home. James's parents are worried too, but with their jobs and no childcare, keeping him at home is not really an option. Rita's parents don't want her to fall behind, so they're going to hire a private tutor. James's parents would love a tutor, but could never afford one. They do want to help James with his homework, but with their work schedules, there's hardly any time. Rita and her family are excited about the upcoming school year and plan to make the most of the situation. James is worried about the fall, and he and his family aren't sure how they're going to make it work.
Just a visual representation of some of the differences that many families in our viewing area face. And once again, any amount that you can give will help supply those families with the technology that they need. We want to thank our donating partners, TXU, for helping us to reach our goal. TXU has donated $50,000, but you can help as well. Our phone bank volunteers are standing by virtually. That number 469-646-6480. And I get it. Sometimes you don't like talking to somebody on the phone, so you can go online if you want to donate as well. Our website, WFAA.com/donate, and you can give any amount.
Some local families in need got a laptop courtesy of our partners at TXU and an organization called CompuDopt. WFAA's Mark Istook was there for the event today. Thanks to the generosity and donations of our viewers, we were able to give out 250 laptops to kids. This is really going to help families still trying to make online learning work.
Things are constantly changing in terms of schools, and we know it can be a lot of information. That's why we created a list with everything you need to know. Just text the word schools to 214-977-6028.
For your middle school minute, as we share 5 facts about the FAFSA. That's the free application for federal student aid. It's what helps determine who gets access to hundreds of millions of dollars worth of federal funds like grants and loans. And it is important. Without the FAFSA, you can lose out on a lot of money.
So I always tell students it's a 100% chance that you won't get any federal aid if you don't fill out the FAFSA.
Keep your eyes on the calendar because the filing period starts in less than a month on October 1st. And don't forget, you have to file each year you're in college too. That aid is available to any student who is a U.S. resident or permanent citizen with a Social Security number, though parents aren't required to have one. But if you don't meet the criteria for the FAFSA, there's still hope.
So if you're not eligible in Texas, we have the TASFA, which stands for Texas Application for State Financial Aid.
For more great resources and important tips, visit our website, WFAA.com/education.
In every home, in every apartment, you will definitely find running water and electricity. But here's what I want to know. Has the pandemic made a home internet connection just as essential as water or power?
The law requires kids to go to school. And last year, going to school absolutely required an internet connection. That created an emergency at Dallas ISD. Dr. Michael Iñojosa is the superintendent.
At first, they had to send us a photo of their homework because until we got them a hotspot, they couldn't send in an email because they couldn't connect.
Research from the Federal Reserve Bank shows Dallas currently ranks 6th in the country for cities with the worst connection to the internet. Large local school districts across Texas solve the problem with mobile hotspots. Much more expensive and slower than home internet, but also far easier to pull off as a solution.
How many hotspots did you have to buy?
It was close to, it was over 15,000. We had 36,000. Wow. We had 36,000 households that did not have connectivity.
Do you think that good access to the internet, a good broadband, is an essential part of our society? We must have it.
That used to be a luxury, not anymore. Yes. Short answer, it is a necessity. Just like water, just like electricity.
So you're in Ohio, you said?
I am, yes.
You in Cleveland?
Columbus.
Columbus. It looks like Cleveland behind you.
Old neighborhood.
Angela Seifer is the executive director of the National Digital Inclusion Alliance. She advocates for access to broadband for schools and well beyond.
What is the pandemic teaching us about access to broadband?
I think the pandemic is increasing awareness of the necessity of broadband in someone's home. The idea of going to a parking lot, to many of us, sounds ridiculous. It is what lots of families are doing right now.
Like sitting in a parking lot outside a library or business that has Wi-Fi. That's what she's talking about. In this new report from Brookings about the digital divide, Angela argues that broadband is essential infrastructure. Yes, it's connecting kids to school, but more broadly, it's also connecting us to work and to job listings, connects us to telemedicine, and brings us closer to our friends and family.
Absolutely must have internet in order to function as a society.
But an internet connection can be expensive.
According to research from a professor at NYU, in France, a connection costs $31 a month, Korea $33, Germany and Japan about $35. But in the US, it's about $68 a month.
And slow internet? That's an issue too.
This report from 4 years ago about the largest non-cable internet providers like AT&T and Verizon is called DSL Providers Save Their Fastest Internet for Wealthier Communities. The Center for Public Integrity found about 40% of customers in wealthy areas can get high speeds, but only 22% can in poorer areas. AT&T says that report is out of date and far from accurate. In South Dallas, it says it's deployed more high-speed fiber per capita than the rest of the DFW area, and 70% of the homes there have access to fiber. Verizon says it has long been committed to building out its high-speed network in urban areas. Dr. Laval Hendricks at Texas A&M Commerce has studied how a lack of reliable access to the internet can hurt students.
Historically, have minority communities had less access to the internet?
There's no question about that. They can't study well. They can't communicate with their instructors. They can't communicate with one another. They don't have materials that they could readily access via the internet. So we have to close the digital divide, and it is incumbent upon us to do it now.
Advocates say narrowing the digital divide will require a range of solutions. More providers competing for your business with lower costs. Government subsidies for families who cannot afford the connection or a computer to go with it, and widespread digital literacy training. And here's a cool idea. DISD and other large Texas districts are asking the federal government to allow individual schools to share their broadband signal beyond school boundaries. The idea is to create neighborhood hotspots for students and parents to use 24/7.
So it's clear that the internet is critical for work. And once again, this school year, it will be critical for school. So what the pandemic is showing us is just like power and just like water, the internet is a utility that everyone needs to have in their home.
All right, you guys, welcome to the third week of WFAA Academy. This is 30 minutes of educational content designed to help parents out in these final weeks of school. So last week, our Sean Giggy baked up a storm, teaching us a little about math and science along the way. It was so popular that, look, he's back with another round.
I like ice cream. At least I think I like ice cream. I don't get to eat a whole lot because somebody usually eats all of mine. Stole my ice cream again, huh? Well, today I'm gonna show you how to make ice cream at home. But before I give you the inside scoop, we've got to answer one question. What makes ice cream taste so good? The answer is science. There are four main things you need for any ice cream. Some kind of sugar, some kind of fat, cold, and most importantly, air. How much air do you think is in a carton of ice cream? 1%? 2%? It's actually 30 to 50%. Yeah, but what's the science behind it? Well, it's kind of like when soccer players swap their jerseys at the end of the game. That's exactly what's happening. The ice is giving its coldness to the cream, and the cream is giving its warmth to the ice, which is why the ice starts to melt and the cream starts to get hard. And salt, well, the salt makes the ice colder, which makes that temperature change happen a lot faster. You're gonna wanna shake this for about 10 minutes or so, and by doing that, this will add air and make it creamier. So just keep going until we're done. All right, I think it's ready. Let's pull this out. Wham! Homemade vanilla ice cream. Open this up, let's have a look. Oh yeah. And it tastes even better now that you know how it's made. Fine, you can have some.
Welcome to Y'all-itics, the home of cold beer and hot takes on Texas politics.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to another edition of Y'all-itics. And just before we get started, I would like to thank everyone who reached out from last week's episode. Jason gave me a big hard time about the fact that I still rollerblade. He thinks I'm the only one.
I don't know Houston ISD Watch, but Houston ISD Watch apparently is some type of a watchdog for the Houston Independent School District. And the tweet says, worried about the upcoming school year? The benefits office is here to help you create your will or your trust. And Houston ISD Watch had also retweeted HISD benefits, the benefits office at Houston Independent School District. And it said today at noon is the EAP webinar, the Employee Assistance Program webinar on estate planning. Please join us and learn how to create a will, a trust, and much more. I reached out to a friend of mine who's a teacher. I said, are teachers really talking about putting their wills together before going back to school this year, if they go back to school this year? He said, yes, Jason. I couldn't believe it.
Wow, that, you know, and that is one of those things, it's indirect, but it just tells you about the seriousness of this.
She's coming to William James.
It's tough to comprehend the size of thousands of families.
All right, Danielle.
But here's what 125 looks like.
Well, now you are really ready, all right?
That's how many Fort Worth ISD families are getting refurbished laptops from a partnership with TXU Energy and CompuDot.
All right, I'll see you virtually.
Another 125 will get them Thursday, but thousands in just this district need them.
It's vital because then the students are not receiving any instruction if they do not have a device.
And here was my reason to smile. I want to thank all of you who helped us raise enough money to buy 500 computers for families who need them for school. Our thanks to TXU Energy and CompuDot, who partnered with us in the city of Dallas to make this happen. So much gratitude. It was moving.
Back to WFAA after the bell. Some parents are sharing with us what it's been like on this first day of class in the most personal way possible.
Hi, we're the Youngs, and these are our children.
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Paxton Thomas.
This is Kate Needham, 10th grader at Allen High School, and Garrett Needham, 4th grader at Story Elementary in Allen.
It's the night before school, and just kind of sitting here chatting.
Tomorrow, I'm going to go to 4th grade in e-learning with my mom.
It's just going to be like a normal school year, just on a computer.
I really am tired, so I'm going to go to bed.
Good morning. We are prepared to do our virtual learning. We are doing it from school.
Today I start 4th grade.
And one is eating breakfast, and the other child is already in class.
My class doesn't start until like 8:45.
So Garrett, what do you think about today?
A little afraid, I'm not gonna lie.
I am still gonna get ready, do like hair and makeup, and get dressed for my Zoom call, because I still want to make a good first impression even though we're not physically going to a building and I'm not meeting these people for the first time.
How does it feel going online and working at home from your own desk? Is that fun?
Well, it's fun, but it's not really normal.
Right now, they said I have to do independent work until 11:45.
So right now it is a little bit after noon. I have had 3 Zoom calls today so far.
Sounds like you're having fun because you've been in here cracking up.
I know, because it's funny too, because the teachers would just be talking. There was this one kid, he was looking dead ass on, he was just like.
it's all different, but feelings for today, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling really good so far about my teachers.
Guys, I really have to focus on this, so I'll talk to you a little later, okay guys?
Back with our cool chemistry science lesson. Let's get back out to Jessica Lycan from the Murrow Museum of Nature and Science to talk more about the phases of matter. We left off, Jessica, where you were talking about dry ice, and I can see some of the colors there have started to change in the other two there.
Yes, so we've got a lot of changes going on here. In chemistry, there are two kinds of changes. One is a physical change, when we're changing the form of a chemical, but we're not changing it into anything new. And that's what caused the bubbling and also this fog in our experiment here today. So the bubbling is the dry ice going from its solid to its gas form. We say that's sublimation. And the fog is actually coming from the water vapor molecules in the air, getting closer together as the dry ice has cooled them.
And whether it's something simple like getting an A on a test or something bigger like getting into your dream college, setting goals is an important part of achieving success. But how do you set those goals and how can you keep them? Well, Keyshawn Johnson is the Counseling Services Coordinator for Dallas ISD. Hey, Keyshawn, thanks for joining us today.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well, thank you, thank you. Oh, let's go ahead and kick it off. Why is it important to set goals?
Well, we use goal setting to instill a growth mindset in our students. Goal setting is an awesome character builder, no matter what age your student may be. When your students believe that they can achieve a goal through persistence and hard work, they learn to be resilient and that overcoming small failures can lead to larger successes.
Well, today is Wednesday, so our lesson of the day is all about Texas history. Jay Wallace introduces us to a Texas congresswoman who was a leading figure in the civil rights movement.
The American Civil Rights Movement gave us some of the most powerful, unwavering leaders our country has ever seen. Many found their place through eloquent speeches and strong messages, including someone who did it on one of the biggest of stages. I'm talking about Texas' very own Barbara Jordan.
I felt somehow for many years that George Washington and Alexander Hamilton just left me out by mistake. But through the process of amendment, interpretation, and court decision, I have finally been included in We the People.
Okay, hello. Can you believe it? We made it to Friday. So happy Friday, everybody. Okay, you guys know this is the finals of the 7-minute stretch. The best part about all of this is that you can play along at home. Here's how you play, okay? Listen up. We will play 2 rounds of 3 questions. In the first round, contestants will get 10 seconds to answer a multiple choice question. Correct answers are worth 10 points. Now, in the second round, correct answers are worth 15. Then we'll play the ultimate last blast question worth 25 points. Do you want to play along? I know you do because you're watching the TV. Open up the WFAA app and click on the Vote Now tile or use an internet browser. All you got to do is go to WFAA.com/vote now. You'll see each question and then possible answers will pop up. All you got to do is easy, y'all. Just choose the answer you think is the right one. This is the last blast, guys. Okay, last question. Which of the 9 planets in our solar system has the most moons? Is it A, Venus, B, Jupiter, or C, Saturn? Okay, that's all our time. Miss Izzy, we gonna start with you. Team Nightside, what you got?
Let's go with B, Jupiter.
Okay, Miss Kara, what you got?
My husband watches a lot of science TV, so I'm going with B because I hear that playing in the background all the time.
The answer is C, Saturn. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay, but let me go ahead and give y'all some extra information. Let me give you some extra info. Okay, for those of you watching at home, just listen up. I can't with her facial expressions. According to an announcement from last October, Saturn now has 82 known moons.
The year of the pandemic is testing our resolve, our relationships, even our paradigms. Our constants became question marks. We followed two North Texas families in their return to school, realizing quickly it was not a return to normalcy.
We're the Whitfield family.
A family of 6 from Wiley. Parents Lee and Alicia work from home. 4 kids, 4 different schools. Caden is 16, and this is his senior year at Wiley High School.
Definitely not the senior year I'd envisioned.
I call him Liam. He calls me Joshua.
The Williams are a family of 6 from Trophy Club. Michael and Teresa are both teachers.
When's the last time you saw your friend?
June, 4 years ago.
Most all of the kids vaguely know about the coronavirus.
It hasn't hit home as much as it has for other people, I bet.
The pandemic has made school different. I feel like parenting is different. You know, we've gone from like this level to this level.
The Whitfields have decided on virtual learning for everyone. The decision to stay home.
For us, it is a matter of life or death.
Okay.
Really.
Sienna has severe asthma. Caden has a heart condition.
Hi, Liam. How are you?
The Williams have their own challenges, managing teacher schedules with their children's schedules.
Well, for us, it was the only decision because we're both working parents.
Why we have to be on Zoom? Because we can't go in school.
Because of COVID-19.
This is the first day back at school.
Good morning, boys. Say good morning.
The first days and weeks of school are very different.
I have to say I'm a ball of emotions.
Caden starts in 24 hours, and we still have not received his schedule.
And we discovered that the room that they were going to be in does not have Wi-Fi.
The times are no different for schools. Open classrooms now have dividers. Hallways have spacing and sanitizer. The students wear masks.
I hate it. Absolutely hate it.
We can't sit next to our friends at lunchtime, so we have to be a seat away.
Yeah, I cannot see them the way I want to see them.
Virtual learning from home has been hard on Caden, a graduating senior who had to give up color guard this year. But more importantly, his support system is at school.
I feel so deprived of getting to see people and talk to people in person to where it's taking a serious emotional toll on me. Honestly, at this point, I think dropping out of high school sounds pretty appealing. I got a job. I mean, what's the problem?
This was definitely the first time that I had heard him say that dropping out of school would be easier. But at the same time, for me, it's about trying to make sure that he realizes that this is temporary. His education is something that he's going to carry the rest of his life, and dropping out is not an option.
But it's not just Caden.
Izzy especially is pretty much every day tells me she wishes COVID didn't exist.
Weeks into school and reality hits.
This is exactly what we were all worried about.
The number of COVID cases mount, as do the emails from schools.
We've gotten a lot this week. 3 this week.
Alerting parents to positive cases on campus. So far, no quarantines. Yet. 3 months into school and the Williams children have eased into the new environment. But if this year didn't have enough surprises.
And my dad had called me Sunday saying he started running a fever. Said I just got the positive result. And I just broke down.
In all this darkness, there is some light. Her father has pulled through. Caden has a college and scholarships waiting for him. But it's clear the pandemic has taken its toll physically, emotionally, and socially.
I mostly feel like we're all missing something. You know, I don't want them to look back on their childhood and to remember the year that we stayed home.
Neither family has regrets about their return to school decisions. The family dynamics dictate the decisions we make.
You know, I've said from day one when school started, small wins. You celebrate those days that are not a loss. You celebrate those days that are not a loss.
This year has been a huge test for all of us. And right now,
we're all just trying to pass. In North Texas, I'm Joe Paniker.